Success. What exactly is that? How do you attain success? Are there certain things that an individual should focus on? Well, the main thing, in my opinion, to be successful is you have to make the right choices. As you can see, many choices brought you here, brought you here. The problem that we have is that everybody wants to be a success, but not too many people want to become a success. I remember many years ago, back in my early 20s, I asked a man, I said, "Sir, I see that you're successful. I see that you've attained various things, various accolades, different pinnacles in your life, and it seems as though you're successful. From the outside looking in, you're a successful man." So I said, if you had to explain to me or give me the keys to success, what would they be? What would they look like? And he said, "Son, I don't necessarily know that I can tell you the key to success, but I can definitely tell you the key to failure. And the key to failure is to try to please everybody. Try to please everybody." Okay, but in today's video, what I'm going to be talking about is success and how you have to have deep roots in order to attain it as well as sustain it. Now, one of the things that I know about successful people is that successful people are willing to do the things today that others will not do, so they can have the things tomorrow that others won't have. So ask yourself a question. Are you willing to do certain things that others won't do? Are you willing to be awake while others are sleeping? Are you willing to stay at work while others go on vacation? What are you willing to do? Because again, you're going to have to go deep. You're going to have deep roots in order to attain and sustain success. So the very first root or area to focus on is something called sacrifice. What exactly is sacrifice? Sacrifice means to give up. Sacrifice is you're giving up something important, something valued for the sake of other considerations. You give up something for the sake of a better cause. You oftentimes hear about individuals making sacrifices, and sacrifice is something that you got to do in order to attain success. The next root, the next area that we're going to focus on that you got to dive deep into is something called risk. What exactly is risk? Risk is a situation involving exposure or danger. Risk is the possibility of something bad happening. Risk is the possibility of loss, the possibility of injury or peril. Risk isn't necessarily something that's going to happen or has happened. Risk is the possibility of. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, it's the possibility. And that's life, because anything is possible in life. Crisis, storms, these are all things that are part of life. Risk is a part of life. But you have to use them as a springboard to greatness. These risks, they oftentimes push you to complete a task or finish something that you've done a while ago. Bubbles gonna burst. That's a part of life. But if you call yourself a leader, if you want to be successful, you have to take risk. Why? Because leaders take risk. If you don't take risk, you will not accomplish anything. So you got to take risk. Shoot for the moon. That's just par for the course if you want to be successful. You see, when you really want something, you'll be willing to do whatever to get it. That means taking risk. But you have to have a wanting. You have to have a willingness. You have to, in the words of my mentor, Les Brown, you got to be hungry. You see, hunger pains, they're going to drive you to find the food to where you might not have even looked before. Because see, when you're starved with ambition, that's going to drive you. It's going to drive you to take calculated risk. So don't be afraid to take risk, because leaders take risk. And if you don't risk, you don't accomplish. And if you're hungry, you're willing to do what a satisfied person deems unreasonable and impossible. Successful people take risk. So that's the second area that we got to dive deep into in order to have and maintain success. The third area we're going to talk about and focus on is something called consistency. It's consistency, what is that? It's steadiness, stability, constancy, regularity, uniformity, dependability, reliability. These are all synonyms for consistency. And if you want to be successful, you have to be consistent. Because success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently, day after day, hour after hour, moment by moment. If you're persistent, you will get it. But if you're consistent, you will keep it. You will keep it. I'm sure many of you are familiar with these one-hit wonders or individuals that have had some semblance of success for a short period of time. And it's probably because they were persistent. So they attained it, but they weren't consistent. So they weren't able to keep it. Beloved, you see, God only blesses what you are consistent about. What are you consistent about? And you have to be consistent even when things are chaotic. You got to be consistent even in a global pandemic. You got to be consistent even in a myriad of social unrest and racial oppression. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent even with gas prices over $5 a gallon. You have to be consistent. You might be watching me, you say, well, I'm an animal, Mr. Motivator. I'm relentless. I'm a go-getter. I'm after it. And that's great. Be relentless because that's what's going to get you there. But consistent will keep you there. Consistency, third area of focus. The fourth area of focus is something called failures. No one likes to fail, but you know what? Failures are a part of life. They really and truly are. Because if you don't fail, you will not learn. You just don't want to learn. And I'm going to say that again. If you don't fail, you won't learn. And if you don't learn, you won't change. And if you don't change, you'll never grow. And if you don't grow, you will not be successful. We're talking about success right now. We're talking about areas that you need to go deep into in order to achieve and maintain success. You can't fear failure. Failure is a part of life. But you need to be terrified of regret. You need to be terrified of that feeling of, gosh, why didn't I? What maybe could have been? Because, see, giving up is the birth of regret. So the fourth area that we need to dig deep in is something called failures. And failures are a part of life. When you take a look at the word failures, the root word of that is fail, F-A-I-L, which is an acronym, is first attempt in learning. First attempt. Failure is success in progress. You're on your way. Say to yourself, I'm on my way. Because you are on your way to greatness. You're on your way to being a success. Mr. Thomas Edison once said, I failed. I failed. I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work. I'm not a failure. I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work. As an athlete, as a coach, I never lose. I learn. I don't fail. I learn. I failed over and over and over again in my life. But that's why I succeed. That's why I'm a success. And so it should be with you. Right now, we're in the middle of the NBA championships between the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. Great series, intense matches. But before the stars on those respective teams, there was a young man, a gentleman, I should say, by the name of Michael Jordan, the GOAT, the greatest of all times. And for many, when you think of Michael Jordan or you hear that name, the six championships come to your mind immediately. The MVP awards come to mind immediately. The dunk contest winner comes to mind immediately. And the scoring records that he has or had come to record because he's the GOAT. But even the greatest of all time failed. And not only did he fail once or twice, he's failed several times. Mr. Jordan once said, he said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. That's a lot of shots. I missed more than 9,000. You don't remember the ones he missed. You remember the game-winning shots. But he's missed more than 9,000 shots. Michael Jordan has lost almost 300 games in his career. It's a lot of games. But you don't remember those, right? You remember the ones he won. 26 times his teammates, the coaches, they trusted him to take the game-winning shot. And he missed the shot. He failed over and over and over again. But that, my friend, is why he succeeds. That, my friend, is why he's a winner. So failure is par for the course. So don't be afraid to fail, because it's going to happen. Now, the next area of focus or emphasis is something called criticism. And I love how Albert Hubert says, he said, to avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. That's all you got to do. If you want to avoid criticism, if you want to avoid people talking about you and saying things and looking at you sideways and hating you and being jealous, do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. But I want to remind you of something right now. If you're watching me, you're watching this video, that means you are a human being. You are supposed to be. We are created to be something. We are created to say something, and we are created to do something. Aha. Yes. And don't you ever forget that you'll never be criticized by someone doing more than you. It just won't happen. But you'll always be criticized by someone doing less. Remember that. Remember that. And more often than not, it's not even about you. It's about them. They're jealous. They're envious. They've been drinking that new sports drink called Haterade and guzzling it by the gallons. But you need to keep on keeping on, because you are a star, baby, and you've been created to shine. Now, if you might be watching me and you're saying or thinking, well, I've never been criticized. No one talks about me. I personally don't feel that's anything to brag about. Because if you've never been criticized, you probably aren't doing much that makes a difference. You're just not. You're just not. You're not doing anything to make a difference. Well, Mr. Motivator, what about constructive criticism? Oh, I'm so glad that you asked. You see, constructive criticism is all right. It's necessary. It's needed. As iron sharpens iron, so should friends sharpen the countenance of each other. So constructive criticism has its place, but it needs to be a one-on-one kind of thing. It doesn't need to be in front of a big group unless you've already done the one-on-one thing. It doesn't need to be a situation where you're trying to throw the person under the bus. It doesn't need to be a situation where you're trying to elevate yourself, okay, by diminishing someone else. That's not constructive criticism. All right. But so taking constructive criticism from others is necessary in order to get to the next level. And I'm sure we all want to get to the next level. We all want to be successful. So what's the problem? What's the trouble, Mr. Motivator? Well, the problem is this. This is the problem. Herein lies the problem. The problem is that, in the words of Norman Vincent Peale, most of us would rather be ruined by praise than saved by criticism. Most of us want the pat on the back. Most of us want the round of applause. That's what we want. The praise is good and it feels good, and oftentimes it's warranted. But don't try to shun the criticism. Save, be saved by criticism. What's the next area that we got to go deep into? Is something called rejection. So rejection is the feeling. It is a feeling of being unwanted. It's a feeling of exclusion, worthless, turned down. Rejection is not belonging. It's not being accepted. But I want you to look at rejection, or consider this. Consider that the rejection wasn't necessarily a rejection. It was just that you're being set apart. It was that God ultimately protecting you from something, or is that God is showing you that He has something better for you? So don't look at it as a rejection. Don't look at it as the end of the world, because it's not. Life goes on. You may have wanted to become a member of that sorority or that fraternity, that organization, that group, but that's not God's plan for you. And that's all right. That's all right. You see, rejection hurts, and it always will, but it does not have to define who you are. So don't let it define who you are. You're going to have millions, listen to me closely, millions of moments of someone telling you no, no, no. It's going to happen. You will hear more no's than yes. But don't be afraid of the no's. Don't be afraid of the no's, because the no's getting you that much closer to the yes. Because I want you to be afraid of the possibility of a yes that you prematurely destroyed because you decided to quit before the clock struck 12, before the clock struck midnight. You decided to throw in the towel. You decided to quit because you got rejected. Come on, man. No could mean, listen to me closely, not now. That's what no can mean. It can mean not now. And the reality is that some people, they just don't want to see you past them on the ladder of success. So they're going to tell you no. They're going to tell you, I ain't able to help you out, dog. And they lying through their teeth. But that's all right. Because again, you're going deep, and you got deep roots, because you want to spring forth and be a success. The last area of focus in order to be successful is something called discipline. Discipline means creating order within yourself. And it starts with you. You don't create order with other people, especially when your stuff ain't in order. Create order within yourself. Discipline is having structure. You see, we serve a God of order. We serve a God of structure. We serve a God of systems. So you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined. I love the way, I think it was Jim Rohn. Yeah, Jim Rohn says it. He says, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It's the bridge. All right. So when you want to cross that bridge, you want to get to that goal, you want to achieve certain things, you got to be disciplined in order to walk across that bridge. You got to be disciplined in order to get from point A to point B. You see, as human beings, chaos is our default state. It just is. Mayhem can be your go-to, which is why you have to train yourself to be disciplined. It's not about what you feel, not about necessarily what you think. You can't expect to succeed if you only work on the days that you feel like it. It's just not going to happen. I have a mantra that I've, adapted for about 5-6 years now, and it says, "Do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, whether you feel like it or not. Just do it. Just do it." All right, because again, success, in order to be successful, you have to have deep roots to obtain it. In order to be successful, you have to have deep roots to sustain it. And as I close this video, I want to remind you of this, is that some people dream of success while others wake up and make it happen. So which one are you? Are you going to wake up? Time to wake up, baby. Because success depends on the second letter of that word, and that's you. It's not your spouse, your husband, your wife. It's you. It's not your mom or your daddy. It's you. It's not Pookie and Rubber. It's you. It's you. And it's time to do it. There's greatness on the inside of you, but you have to water that seed. You got to nurture that seed so you can also become all to which you've been created to become. And once you water that seed, then you're going to develop roots. And your roots are going to go deep because you have to have deep roots to obtain and sustain success. Well, family, that is my time. My name is Anthony Henderson, speaker extraordinaire. I am Linda D's firstborn child, reminding you that life is God's gift to you. And what you do with that life is your gift to God. Have an amazing day and keep shining. Bye-bye.